money. It's cool.
Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God! The government's here! Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
All right, we're live. We're back.
Welcome back once again to another episode of Only Ben. This week,
Totally Ben Johnson, completely cartoony.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that show. It sounds like it would be pretty good, though.
It's right. I had to scrub it from the internet. You know, that's what I've been doing all month. Just trying to fight these people away.
I don't know who they are. I have no idea. I just know they're probably very charming.
Nah, they're a bunch of weebs because they like anime. But yeah, that's right, man. I'm back on Totally Toonular. Been gone literally a whole month. Like, you know, you can see my wall still looks bare because I haven't put up. Like, I'm still not even like completely reset from when we did Portrait of Payback. I've been just constantly rolling. So this is like the first time I've been home, really, just kind of sitting in my ass, and it's pretty awesome.
It's been 5 full weeks. Like 5 full weeks. Not even just like a regular month. August had that extra Wednesday in there, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, it's been crazy, and it was almost a thing too, man. I mean, you know, you worked on film and have gone on and worked on long periods of film, even your own movie. But it's like I didn't understand what normal life was gonna be coming back, you know, because you get so used to this like machine of like, okay, I'm waking up, seeing the same people, doing this. All right, we're going back to the Airbnb. All right, back to setting everything up, and then one day it's just, all right, you can just leave. You're gone, you know.
So it's like everybody else's normal 9-to-5 job, except like in your 9-to-5 job, it eventually ends and your home is not your home.
Yeah, especially when you're traveling. You know, we've been upstate New York, and man, I gotta say too, Troy is like probably the sketchiest area I've ever been in my life. Shout out to Derek. St. Louis was pretty close, but Troy was like, just I guess at a certain point, it was like a poppin' city in like the 1800s, you know, or like early 1900s of some sort. Because
Right.
now it's just like old and just completely run down. And we shot in this abandoned fast food restaurant called Ted's Fish Fry, which we tried upstate. It's a local chain, pretty good. But we found out like somewhat within the week of shooting, one of the locals came up to me and talking to me and told me that they had closed down. The reason why Ted's Fish Fry was closed down is because they kept getting robbed constantly.
So the locals were like, be aware.
Yeah.
Someone easily might try to rob you if they see this place is up and running again.
Yeah, and luckily no one tried to rob us, thankfully. But people did think it was a real restaurant. Like, we had constant people trying to, like, literally would just walk in while we're in the middle of set dressing and be like, "Oh, when is this open?" We're like, "We're not open."
You know, this isn't an actual restaurant.
That reminds me too. We almost had like a health inspector shut us down. Like, this inspector comes in and he's just like, "You guys can't be doing this. You guys can't be cooking any food here. You can't do this at all. You guys got to stop. You got to stop right now." Like, he thought we were trying to open a real restaurant and was trying to close us down.
Did it? Well, I know from what I saw that like what was it? It was on the news even.
Yeah, we made the news some. And here's the weird part about it, right? No, like, well, someone did eventually come and interview Rocco, like in third week. But that
Right.
first thing of the news, no one came to interview it. Nobody knew that their news was shooting in there, and they had a shot from inside, and
What?
nobody knew that was happening. Like, it literally, someone just was like, "Hey, look, you guys made the news one day." Like, nobody knew that there were cameras or that was being like somebody was there taking photos at all.
Bro, that is terrifying. That
Yeah, Troy,
that's
Two
terrifying.
places, man. Yeah.
they're like sneaking into your set They're recording without you knowing. They're sending the health inspectors. I'm surprised, like, you didn't get some legit mafia guys there.
Probably. No. But I said, no, luckily nothing happened. That was great. Just like any other shoot, some long days, some good days, some bad days. You know how it all goes. Goes down.
It's like if any film shoot, anything like that, is very much like an actual and real roller coaster, bro. like
For reals.
peaks,
Definitely roller coaster ride.
peaks and valleys, sir. Peaks and valleys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what
Yeah,
was the
man.
highlight? What was the highlight of the shoot?
I mean, the highlight, I mean, I don't know, hanging out with some old friends again. Actually, I'll tell you a highlight, actually. So at a certain point when we were shooting, we were doing some stuff outside.
Right.
We're doing stage stuff. I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's stage stuff and crowd and whatever. And they're doing playback audio. So I didn't need to run sound because we have fucking music playing. So I just decided, I'm just going to go ride my skateboard. So I just started like riding my skateboard around because we were in a big parking lot. So I was just skating around. Then a good buddy of mine, Matt Weir, who hasn't popped onto a skateboard in forever. Like, he told me he started skating in his 30s. He just starts riding his skateboard and just starts like doing shit and is like in a better mood. And then Brooks was like, "Oh shit, you got a skateboard." Brooks comes over and he starts riding his skateboard. And for like this moment, it was like, I don't know, my one skateboard just started like bringing people back to their childhood a little bit, kind of like boosted everyone's mood up a bit. So that was a highlight for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And already the chat can agree. We've already got joining us, bro. Or it's early too. We got the Whiplash Maniac saying, welcome back, James, with a big ass cowabunga.
Hell yeah.
Big Dan, his own self, he's in the Garden State. He shouldn't be giving away his location in the chat, but
Isn't that Jersey?
that's Jersey. Yeah, Big Dan's in Jersey this week.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We're not too far.
And then Reeves is just simply teaching him how to pronounce it. So, Joyzy.
Joyzy.
Chat's already getting nutty. Guys, good to see you.
That's amazing.
Thank you for joining us.
And then another awesome highlight, man. I got to hang out with a professional wrestler, a little professional wrestler.
Nice.
His name's Short Sleeve Sampson. And I don't know, first I meet him, it was cool to meet a wrestler. I always just mark out meeting any wrestlers, And then he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I worked for the WWE before. And I was like, no way, doing what? He was like, well, I'm kind of like the little guy that they call up whenever they need, when the bad guy is going to make fun of the good guy. They'll sometimes bring out little wrestlers to make fun of the good guy. And he's the little wrestler that they will call in. So he's been like Little Undertaker, Little Kurt Angle.
That's exactly
showing me Little Jerry Lawler.
That's exactly what I was going to ask, because I specifically remember the Little Undertaker bit. Like,
yeah, that's him.
Wow.
And he told me I was like, did you take a move? He was like, yeah, Undertaker chokeslammed me. And I was like, bro, how high did you go in the air? And he was like, I was 8 feet completely straight up in the air.
Oh my God. And not to say, it's nothing disparaging. I mean, in all honesty, that's like taking someone maybe a little slightly bigger than a 10-year-old. Right. And I mean, just height wise, I'm not. Yeah. But I mean, just judging by size, that's like smashing a little kid on the ground. That's terrible.
Yeah, especially when you got Taker, the Undertaker, who's 7 foot.
He's a giant.
Whatever.
He's a fucking giant. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Super cool guy. He had good things to say about the WWE. And it was just fun hanging out with him, man. It was. So there's some good shit. I met some good friends. This guy Gabe, he's a lead actor from the UK. Super awesome. Love having more British friends now. Now I can go to the UK and have people to hang out with.
British friends are way better sometimes than our American friends. I'll put it that way.
People from Japan come by, which is cool. Meeting people from Japan.
Oh, was that Rocco's buddy who had something at Trauma Dance in 2022? Did he come back out?
Yeah, not that direct person, but someone in that sphere
Got it.
of movie.
Got it.
Yeah, cause, I want to tell too much tales out of school, but I think like they have like an agreement. This person was gonna work on this movie, and then Rocco's gonna go there to help them
Oh,
on their next movie.
see, that's how you do it too. That's how you get like your international credit. Like, it sounds like you guys
Yeah.
have. It sounds like you guys have a hell of like just a hell of a crew. You had a hell of a shoot on your hands. I've been seeing on some socials there's still some shooting going on. So like Flapjacks is still in the works, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be definitely some more stuff coming up for sure. Definitely got a little overzealous at times
Well,
of what we
nah,
can do.
everybody does that, and like Rocco's first movie was tremendous, and I have no doubt that this one's gonna be pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna close up too bad it by saying, like finally there's like photos coming out on that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, doggies! Someone trying to break in.
She's going nuts. I gotta feed her some treats. She
Other baby.
like she's trying to protect the house tonight. Like it's a whole thing. We got them back from camp yesterday, and they have been just getting adjusted back to the house. So
So now some photos are coming out. I didn't take a lot of photos. I mean, I'm like that in general. I mean, even Portrait of Payback, I didn't take any photos. I'm just not good at multitasking like that on sets. But there was a photo today that I saw of some stills coming out of me standing on this counter. Like I can't even express how often I was standing on that counter. Like with Brooks up in a ladder and me standing on a counter. Like that's just like when I watch that movie, most of those shots are probably me doing sound from a countertop. Like standing up there.
do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember the weird day on Shitstorm where everything went bad like 5 years ago? And we
That's
ended
a very wide spectrum of, of things.
No. It was one day in particular. Lloyd was in his dress, his Cinderella dress, and he ended up on the counter at that bar at Central, and then he did like a Q&A with all the actor persons. Do you remember
I
that
remember-
at all?
No, I remember doing a Q&A. Yeah.
Dude, I for whatever reason, like camera was down for like 2 hours. We were out of pocket, and he was in a mood, and he gets up on this counter, and basically it's like this almost fucking Dead Poet Society moment. It feels very "Oh Captain, my Captain," and then they get him off of the counter. And all of the actor persons that are sitting there waiting, Lloyd's like, well, fuck it. We've got time. Anybody got any questions? And then he does like an impromptu Q&A for like 30, 35 minutes.
Is he standing up on a table somewhere?
No, that one he did get down. They made him get off the counter. Everybody was worried about him. Everybody was worried about him.
Yeah, and Lloyd was on set for a day, which is great. That was a lot of fun.
This is my favorite story, though, James. What happened that day when he showed up?
I mean, there's like 3 different things I can talk about that happened when Lloyd showed up. But there's also, I guess I'll start with the first one, which is, one of my first early sound gigs. I was with Lloyd, doing an interview with Lloyd, and my sound got fucked up. There was literally an electrical explosion at Con Edison, where Lloyd lives, like behind his house,
Right.
literally across the river. So all my wireless mics kind of just weren't working right. And then, obviously they blamed me for it. I didn't know how to fix it then because, I don't know, I was like my second gig probably ever. But for the longest time, Lloyd always kept giving me shit for sound for a while. But then, I had no idea he was even coming that day. And it happened to be the first fucking day I forget my batteries. Like I forget the things I need to power my mixer. And, my Airbnb is 40 minutes away from the set every day. So I had to I pull up the set, I open my trunk. I'm like, fuck, my bag's gone. I can't ask anybody else to go pick it up. Everybody else is on set, and then by the time we try to figure, how these things work. Like everybody's ready running around. If I had to try to go to somebody to ask them to then get some PA to go drive to get my stuff, that's going to take another hour,
Yeah.
plus travel. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I go to Rocco. I was like, I'm just going to leave now. I'm just going to go. And he was like, all right. literally, I'm busting ass back, and I hear he calls. He's like, "Hey, Lloyd's pulling up." I was like, "Lloyd's supposed to be here that day?" Of course, it's like the one fucking day I'm not prepared. Is fucking Lloyd's here? He's gonna like fucking just ring me out for not having sound. But honestly, I came back pretty quick, and I don't think Lloyd even noticed.
No, he was too busy looking around, pressing flesh, talking to people. He
Yeah.
was way too busy doing that. The only time he's really going to notice you is when you come up to him and you're like, "Nah, can I put this microphone on you?"
He brought up Cook Island to me because, you know, in this movie, I had to put the mic packs a lot on their ankles because everybody had these tucked in shirts or whatever. So I was like, all right, I got to feed this mic down your pants leg and you put it on your ankle. He was like, oh, okay. He just like, he unbuttons his fly, zips his like fly down, whatever. And he was like, hey, this brings you back to Cook Island, right?
Which, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it did. In so many,
So many ways. So many ways.
So many ways.
And yeah, he always likes to bring up two people that I've seen the Toxic Avenger reboot. And I'm starting to think he's doing it now because I'm sure he's spoiling it out to people at this point. And I think he wants me to say it in public, like in front of him, so that he can have like a scapegoat.
Yeah,
You know, when
so
shit gets
he
leaked.
can talk about it.
Yeah.
I think he just wants to talk about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like if I start doing it, then he can talk about it. And then if something gets out, he'd be like, I don't know, was this guy James just
I mean, he was the one talking about it. I just piggyback on what he said. I don't know. It's an old thing. I have no idea. He said it. I just agreed. Maybe it was true. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Like,
yeah, and then he wanted me to cast him in Portrait of Payback, and I was like, sorry, I don't know. I just made a short film with my friends. I'm sorry I didn't hit you up, Lloyd. You know, then I was like, well, we're probably going to work on the sequel. And then he was just like, no. Immediately, just hard no. And then was kind of like, had his arms crossed and was kind of like pouting. He was like, no, I'm not going to do it now. You know, you didn't want me in your movie, man.
I don't. I put you in my movie. You don't want an old man in your movie. You don't. I literally can hear that and see that in the face, like just kind of head turned up, not looking at you anymore.
Exactly.
No, you had your opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say, well, Reeves put me in his movie. Reeves Ben put me in his movie. I'm like, you don't put me in.
I was able to change it. I like saved it by being like, well, James Gunn's running DC, so you'll have a bunch more cameos coming up. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. I get to do all these movies now.
We said it here before, and I will say it again. If Lloyd Kaufman does not play Mr. Mxyzptlk, like the DCEU, I will have lost all faith in James Gunn. I love him. I will have lost all faith in him.
I was gonna bring it up to Lloyd, but I was like, Lloyd's also not gonna understand what I'm saying, so
he would.
I forget.
Look at you like you're a lunatic, Mr.
Like, what the fuck is the Mr. Mxyzptlk?
Mr. Mix. I mean, that's I remember Mr. Magoo. He was blind, and then he would do Magoo all day. He would pretend to be blind all day. James thinks I could be this guy. I'll be this guy all day. I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, wild times, man. It all feels like a blur right now. It almost feels like sitting here in my room with you on Skype almost feels like none of that even happened.
But you know what? Like, again, I will say this. Everything that I've seen on the socials, and it's been a little like, you know, because I follow all those guys. I want to see our friends doing well. And everything looks good. Like the set design, the art department stuff, all that production design.
It's all art department.
Yeah.
Like most of this movie is like 90% art department.
It has to,
which is crazy.
But see, that's the thing. Like in something like this, where your set matters. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if the whole story is centered around these things, the set matters. It matters a lot. Yeah.
A lot. And when you watch the movie, man, they painted all the walls, all the posters are fake. Like, it's why people thought this was a real restaurant.
Oh, so they straight up went into the abandoned fish fry and were like,
Yeah.
we're doing an overhaul. We're repainting this bastard.
Yeah.
Nice.
Literally. Yeah, and it looks great that way. And shout out to also Bergio, who's running our live stream all month. Thank you, John Bergio. He made all the posters too. So, you see all that graphic design up there, all the menus.
Yeah.
All Bergio right there.
Listen, an amazing talent. An amazing talent. His graphic design is top notch. I heard he was held at gunpoint and had to redo a background for that other cartoon show, that thing that might have happened that I'm unaware of. I don't know. I recorded something, I sent it to you, and I guess it just got lost in the web.
Yeah, I've never seen. No idea what that.
We had a wonderful guest, wonderful show.
It was the first Saturday we missed as totally Toonular. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
It's terrible. It's terrible that ever happened. I feel well, I don't feel responsible. You're the one that left. Your fault.
I'm back now, and came back in time just for Trauma Dance. It literally went from one movie to Portrait of Payback, back to that same movie, to then straight to Flapjacks, to then straight to Trauma Dance. Like, I literally haven't been home since yesterday. So, yeah, now Trauma Dance. I mean, how was your Trauma Dance, Ben? I mean, I just saw you, what, fucking 2 days ago?
Yeah, a couple of days ago. Hung out for a few. It was good. Actually, it was pretty great. Jen and I, we stayed with Jimmy and Carrie out in Bayonne. Hung out with little Jimmy Adamson.
Little Jimmy Adamson from Bayonne, New Jersey.
We stayed with him. Chris Nugent was out there with us. Chris from Chicago. And basically, man, we went Friday night, watched a few movies. Press the Flesh, saw everybody. Did that whole deal. And Friday night, I thought was pretty well packed, right? Like Friday, I was like, oh shit, if this turnout happens for our movie tomorrow, I'll be super stoked. I'll be very happy with it, right?
Yeah.
Bro, Saturday night, insane. Like Saturday night was an insane turnout. Like I don't even know what in the hell happened, but at around like 6:30, about an hour before the movie started up, it just filled up. And we had the pleasure of screening right after Dylan Greenberg's movie, Sir Isengord. And it's got a very long title that I'm very bad at saying.
That movie ripped for sure.
That movie ripped. And then our dumb movie played afterwards. But it's weird when you follow something that is like, and I'll put it this way. It's not that our movie is not artistic, but when you follow something like that, because Dylan's been playing for a minute, you know what I mean? Like Dylan knows what's up, and her work is exceptional. It comes out in the cut. There's a lot of like fun stuff that she does in the edit, that she does on or in camera even. Like it's nutty. And then Curse of the Werewolf played. and then Curse of the Werewolf played. Dude, I don't even know. It's like it's one of those
features. I didn't even see you in the room.
Oh yeah, bro. I watched. Yeah. I started the movie in the back, and then the worst thing that could have happened in the back happened. The screen went out.
It did, right, on the hunter scene.
During the bachelor party, during the greatest bit in the movie. Now, the front screen was perfect. So I ran out and I was like, the screen is off. We need people. And they fixed it. And they fixed it for... I think the actual like hunters in the tent stuff for the people in the back, that was able to get fixed. Nobody in the front missed it. So I ended up watching all that with everybody in the front, and it was fucking nanners. Everybody in the front was just like, what in the hell is happening? Craziest thing to me though, the entire time was literally how invested people were in Becky and Randy's relationship.
That's awesome.
Like
That's part of that movie.
people love Becky and Randy together. People love them. We got no's and oohs and ahs, and once again, we proved that the sexy saxophone man like makes a movie.
He does. Yeah, I really didn't expect it. I mean, I knew it was gonna be funny, but yeah, the crowd hit on that a lot more than I thought.
Dude, big pop, right? Like people just giggled the second that that sexy sexman steps out on the screen. You hear the music playing during the love scene, and then he steps in. Just people giggling left and right. Loved it. And no big spoilers, but when he dies, we got the biggest. Yeah. Oh no!
I was like, I didn't think people would even catch that.
And dude, not only caught it, but were affected by it, man.
Have you told Ben Eads?
Oh yeah, no, that's like. I sent him that after the Gallatin show that we did, right? After the Gallatin show, I was like, bro, people love you. And he's like, whatever. And I sent him the same note after Truman Dates, too. I'm like, I don't know what it is about this character, but holy fuck, people love you. People love you.
There was one point where I started hearing people chant murder. And I was like, who's chanting murder? And then I turn around. And there's just Jimmy leading the charge.
See, that's the kind of shit that I show up for. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit that makes it worthwhile. That makes it really, really worthwhile. All of Jimmy's jokes hit. All of the script fucks. You know what I mean? Like, it really, it really, really hits hard. Shot well, cut well. Bergio got a lot of praise in the edit. A lot of praise in the edit.
Nice.
In the fact of like just how quickly it came together. How there's no lost time in the movie. It doesn't linger on anything, right? So very happy with it. So we screened. We did a little panel that lasted all of 5 minutes, which was perfect. And then we partied balls the rest of Saturday night.
Would you say you were a party dude?
Party dude. I'm very much a party dude. Yeah, it was. Yes, I was a Michelangelo.
In the chat here, Reeves says you are Michelangelo, who is the party dude.
Nicole is Donatello. James is Raphael. Ben is Michelangelo. Very fitting. Very fitting. But I will also say this, and I'm sad you didn't come back out on Sunday night. A bunch of us showed up.
It was a long Saturday.
You're sad.
If you think I left my couch, you're mistaken.
So we all go back, right? Or a bunch of us went back. There's maybe about like 8 of us that ended up heading back there. And I get this note from Dylan on Instagram. Hey, are some of the Weird Ear guys coming back? Yeah, we're coming back. Sure. At least a few of us. Caught another couple movies. And then I see Dylan and her bandmate Matt walking down the street, right? And me and Jen had gone to get a coffee and to get some food. And she says to us, we have a surprise for the casting crew of Weird Ear, for whoever's here. And I was like, cool, we'll be back in a few. Around maybe 8 o'clock, before the drag show was getting ready to start during the last block, everybody was standing outside. Dylan comes out, looks around, and goes, okay, looks like you're all out here. Perfect. Gets Matt. Matt cracks out a guitar. And then they whoop into a 3-song set. A 3-song... Yep. Theophobia set, opening with God of War. Opening...
Everything joy coming.
Opening with an acoustic version of God of War. I was giddy.
That's incredible.
Giddy. And then
I wish I was able to see that.
Oh, I have video. I'll send you.
All right,
Video.
yeah, I was just way too hungover, and there were 2 wrestling pay-per-views on. I was like, you know what, this is my night.
You're like, I've seen enough experimental film. I supported the thing I worked on. I'm staying home.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But also that meant everybody else wanted to follow suit. Nobody else wanted to leave my apartment.
Listen, sometimes, people are in from out of town. They want to hang out. Or they just were hungover too and didn't have a plane ride until Monday.
It was so great hanging out. Eric, Derek, Joe, Becky, anybody else I'm probably forgetting off the top of my head. But yeah, the crew, the peeps.
The gang's all there. Aw, Reeve says hearing about trauma dance is giving him the worst FOMO of his life. I feel for him. Yeah. I do.
But he gets to go to Italy, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Hang on. I'm telling him now to go tell Michelangelo about
it. Yeah, tell Michelangelo to come to the screening.
But
about your FOMO.
Anyway, yeah. So wonderful trauma dance. Got back home. Monday we flew back, and then it's just kind of been the same as you, adjusting.
Yeah, getting back to normal in the sea.
Yeah,
I still haven't really been unpacked. I don't know. I finally got my gear back today, so I'm finally everything's done. It's just getting it together. Also, apparently, I'm also dead, which I have to go sort that out still.
Thank God. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you did, you are legally dead right now.
Apparently, I think the banks they told me by Thursday I should be fine. But yeah, but something apparently the federal government had contacted my bank saying that I had died. And my bank froze all my shit.
Oh my God. Oh my, who do you talk to at the Fed to tell them that you're alive?
Well, they're supposed to be talking, they're talking to the Social Security people. So because there's also no one ever got a death certificate, which they're all kind of realizing. So they're like, oh, they're like, don't worry about it. We're going to figure it out. And I was like, okay, just figure it out by Thursday.
Fuck. So you got cash, you got running money, you got shit like that, right? Or is everything just?
I'm yeah, I had luckily I have a credit card and I had cash. So I was like, I can make it last for because it happened during flapjacks, but I couldn't have time to call my bank. I thought maybe they closed my card or something because I've been away or some shit like that. And then I called the guy on the phone and he was just like, oh, it says you're dead.
I've heard of this happening, but I have never to anybody that I know, never to anybody that I'm really adjacent to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm not too worried about it now unless it goes on for another week and my account's still fucked and they're like, I don't know what's going on. Then I'll get a little worried about it. Or maybe that means I can do whatever I want right now. Who knows?
Did you? Now's the time to go and commit crime.
Yeah.
When you went to the bank, did you just throw the doors wide open and scream out "Dead Man Walking"? And then you and just burst the fucking doors open and you're like, "Dead Man Walking."
They made me go to the bank to prove that I'm alive because it was easier, in person. But then there was still a line, so I'm waiting online. And the lady comes up to me. She's like, what are you trying to do? And I was like, well, apparently I'm dead. And she was like, oh, you shouldn't be on this line. Wait over here. I'm going to come help you out in a second.
I'm sorry. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm dead. Oh, no. Wrong line for you. Got a special line.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been through that before in my life. So, but yeah, I'm dead man on air right now.
But James, so since you've been gone, there have been horrible ways to transition these, and I don't think that there's a better one than this. I know we were talking about party dudes. I did eat some of your famous New York City pizza, and since we've been in New York talking about trauma dance and all of that fun stuff, I would say something about it crossing a manhole cover at one point, but I don't know. We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Hell yeah. long time coming. Because dude, I'm the hugest Ninja Turtles fan. Like I fucking love the Ninja Turtles. I mean, as like a '90s kid growing up, I mean, ninjas were everything, you know. And, like so, Ninja Turtles are top of that list of just fucking awesomeness.
So to that end, I remember when this happened. So
Did you watch this on air, right?
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Did this come out? Because I know there's a connection with this because of Toxie. Did this come out before Crusaders or after?
Crusaders was 87, 88, and I want to say Crusaders was like 90. Right?
Okay, because I know there was some sort of like weird leverage angle, but they made Crusaders as a way to like make Ninja Turtles.
So I don't know about that. I know they're married together through the Playmates company. And
Yeah.
Playmates, the toy company, the Ninja Turtle toys and the Crusader toys are basically like interchangeable.
The same. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. The Steeler says, it's about time. Let's talk.
Yeah.
He's right. So here's the thing with specifically what I'm talking about. I had to look it up because my brain remembered it this way, but I didn't know if that's just like old man stuff. These first 5 episodes that we watched, the complete season 1, right? The complete season 1.
All 5 episodes.
But it aired every day, back to back to back. It was
Every day? It wasn't just like a Saturday morning thing?
No. Hear me out. And Ninja Turtles, when it first broadcast, the first season, it was a 5-day run. It was like the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. No.
Wow.
14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th of December in 87.
So every day would be a new Ninja Turtles?
Every day.
Episode? That's sick.
It was a continuation. It was a continuation from the previous afternoon. And if I remember right, it broadcast originally I want to say it was either at night or like somewhere right after school. But it was like, it was in an odd time to debut a cartoon, but they knew all the kids would be home. And since it was like a CBS thing, parents were there, everybody was there. You could catch the full blown like hype of it, right? So I remember watching this as a kid. During those times, each night it was like appointment viewing for that first full week.
For Ninja Turtles. That's awesome.
And
I want to go back to that world.
bro, and then you didn't get new episodes until October of 88. So it was like almost like this fucking like Christmas time special. And then it's like you wait the next year for the first full season. Right.
That's crazy.
And so the toys were getting pumped out. They would play those 5 episodes again, kind of on repeat for a while. Because then that's when it became sort of the Saturday morning thing. But
Okay.
yeah, but if memory serves, it was a nighttime deal originally. And it was just like, here's this brand new thing. Kids, tell your parents you want to watch it.
Did you have any of the toys?
Oh, who are you talking to? Yes.
Do you
Yes.
still have any of the toys?
I have a couple of them. Tucked away. I also, the older I got, as time went on, because it was like a 7-8 season run, right? Maybe a little more.
Yeah, they lasted from 87 to 96, so that's pretty long especially for like a Saturday morning cartoon.
It's desperately long for a Saturday morning cartoon. But yeah, I had a lot of them. So that's from the time I'm 7 until I'm 16. Okay. By the time I hit like 12, 13, didn't matter what. Okay. Reeves is saying things he should not say in the chat. Text him separately. Reeves. Don't talk about bootlegging my movie. Anyway,
He's trying to leak it to the Italians.
I mean, he should though. Yeah, no, maybe bootleg it a little bit. Don't tell anybody. But here's what ends up happening though. Like the older I got as I played with my Ninja Turtles, I also got into firecrackers because they're legal in Tennessee year round. And I also was, and Steeler can identify with this. I was a big Looney Tunes guy. So one of my favorite things to do would be to put a firecracker in like Shredder's hand and then make it like he's the bad guy smoking a fat cigar after a thing. And then
Firecracker or shredder. That sounds like a dope toy.
I would light the end of it and like blow his hands up. You know what I mean? Like, so
Like Sid from fucking Toy Story.
bro, exactly like Sid from Toy Story. I sat there and I destroyed some things that may have some value, but like,
Yeah, I mean those toys I think are worth some money these days.
yeah, well, I'm an asshole.
Well,
It's
the good thing about it is that they made so many fucking toys that actually most of them are kind of worthless because there's so many.
yeah, and that's
But they are worth some money.
some of them are.
Like I tried to look up. I wanted to buy a Terradome or Technodrome. I tried to find the Technodrome. Just googling it earlier today, see how much it costs. It's going for like $500 in package.
But and 500 in package, it was probably what 50 back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's maintained its value.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's for sure.
do you know what I mean? It's maintained its
Yeah.
value. $50 back then gets you what 500 gets you today. Inflation has fucked us. It feels like that's a lot, but you know.
Yeah, but for obvious reasons, I never watched this on air. Like, I just remember a lot of the reruns, a lot. Because for me, my intro to Turtles was always the movie, like the '90s movie.
Oh,
Like I had a VHS copy that I watched pretty much regularly, like all the time. And then the cartoon would just kind of always just be. I mean, Turtles was everywhere. I mean, it was almost impossible to like avoid this cartoon anywhere.
you would have had to have literally been raised in a cave. Because not only was it it wasn't cable, it was like standard television, right?
Yeah, standard sex and noises.
Standard issue television, standard regular broadcast TV, so not cable. Anybody could get it anywhere. The movie was everywhere in 1990. So that's like even, bro, that's barely 3 years.
You know what?
After this
That's
debut.
that's still the best for me. The movie is the best like Turtles like movie story. Like that's to me always Ninja Turtles. Like that movie's perfect.
The original one, yeah.
Yeah. It's sad. It's actiony. It's funny. It's got like everything. It's kind of like the perfect movie.
It is. It really is actually.
Like my favorite line from the movie, when the beginning of it, when they're buying pizza, and the pizza is like Domino's pizza is late, and Michelangelo says, "Forgiveness is divine, but you never pay full price for late pizza."
Confucius say, "Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza." But it says half. Where's the half? I don't say. Come on. So that hits, and it's weird when you watch the cartoon versus the movie, right? Because I have the actors' voices more so in my head.
Yeah.
From the movie than the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
With the exception of Michelangelo.
Corey Feldman, I think, voices Leonardo or Donatello, I think. Forgot either one of them. Corey Feldman voices them in the movie.
Yeah, Corey Feldman is one. I actually have a weird little Ninja Turtles fun fact too. A kid,
bring it on.
A kid that went to school with Jen. Their dad was one of the turtles in the wildly unsuccessful third film.
Oh, really?
They shot it in Astoria, and the guy was, he did the ninja stuff in the suit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
For the third film. Yeah.
And I used to love the third movie as a kid. Actually, like a lot. Because I never had the second VHS for a long time. So I only had the first movie and the third movie. So for a while, I never saw the second one. So I was obsessed with the third movie. And I've rewatched it within the last couple of years. And it's pretty bad. You know, the concept's really cool. It's bad though.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's literally not the best movie.
And I just watched Secret of the Ooze. The second one still holds up. That movie rules too. It's not as good as the first one, but still pretty awesome. I mean, Ninja Rap.
I still love Splinter though. I made another funny.
Oh man, I wish my phone's dead. I don't know if I can even find it or pull it up. You sent me a meme, you know, from Secret of the Ooze, and I thought it was an edit when Splitter says "I'm coming," but that's the line in the movie.
Yes.
Like they're just all standing. You just hear Splitter just be like, "I'm coming.
I'm coming." What? What? What are you doing? But no, and there's a thing. 3 years in, barely even 3 years in, by the time the movie hits theaters, right? Like 87 to mid 90s, so like 2.5 years. In that 700 days, we'll call it 800, right? In 800 days, Ninja Turtles exploded, like vomited everywhere. And if you look at it, that's really not a lot of time, especially considering the fucking almost year break before the second season came out, right? So that's 88, 89. They're already in production of the movie in 89 for it to hit theaters in 90. In about a year, they're like, this is the thing.
And I was looking up some shit earlier, and you know, a lot of people didn't want to make any of this stuff. You know, the show got shopped around for a bit until finally, like, they got a toy deal. The movie wasn't going to be made until finally Golden Harvest took it over. So it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, it's just crazy how fast it blew up, and also nobody wanted to make it, like, at all.
And it's weird because you never really know what's going to hit. Like, I didn't, what do you call it? I didn't really like read the comics. I've only read a fistful of the comics.
Supposed to be darker. Like the actual comics is supposed to be dramatically different than what the show is. Like there's no pizza. I don't think there's even an April O'Neil maybe. Like I just know it gets a lot darker and more serious kind of ninja stuff.
And to take a property that is that and then turn it into straight up children's fodder. And you know, we talk a lot about it here, but I wonder if that's not sort of the impetus for Toxic Avenger, or Toxic Crusaders.
I'm saying, I think Crusaders has a lot to thank with Ninja Turtles in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways.
Like I said, I don't remember the full story, but I know this show Crusaders I know was used as leverage to make more Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
and that's the part why I think it only lasted a season. But I remember, so my first memory of Turtles is the movie. So I always thought Splinter was, in the movie, he's just a regular rat that grew up with, I think the guy's name was Yoshi, like grew up with him and then learned his karate watching him. And then they came to New York. His master gets murdered, Yoshi.
Right.
And he escapes, then gets the ooze, and then him and the Turtles. And the show...
He is Hamato Yoshi.
Yeah. Yeah, he is the fucking dude who transforms into a rat.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I like better. I don't know if it's like the rat learning kung fu or
so
the person becoming a rat.
I mean, that's like, it's a little more convoluted in the cartoon than in the movie.
He was touching rats, so that made him human. That made him into a rat, and then he touched the turtles, that made them into humans. But if he was also touching a rat, touching a turtle, I mean, wouldn't they be like more like rat human turtle hybrids?
They should be rat turtles. They should be rat turtles. Is really what that should be.
And there's a lot of shit in that sewer. Like, wouldn't they fuse with whatever other grossness that exists in that sewer?
with human shit, they become like algae. They become all of that stuff. So you don't see Hamato Yoshi touching a rat at all. It just said, oh, he had recently been with the rats. So there's already a flawed logic there in the first episode, because the last animal he touches as he touches the ooze is a turtle. He should be a turtle. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the last thing, yeah, he should be a turtle too.
Yeah.
And you know, a while ago, I kind of blame the Suicide Squad movie, but me and John were talking about getting rats because they just look like cool pets, and they're very smart. You know what I mean? Like you can literally train a rat to go play fetch and like go find stuff for you. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll do it. So like think about a rat that's living with this like I mean, it's still definitely convoluted, but like I feel like I'm willing to spend more disbelief knowing that a rat was kind of learning kung fu and then got mutated and then retained all that kind
knowledge. That makes much more sense, right? Like that makes much more sense. But it in the way it is in the cartoon, it almost feels too like, oh, well, that's why the turtles train so quickly. You know what I mean? Because they're infused with a little bit of Hamato Yoshi's thing. Also, the stories are vastly different between sort of like Shredder and so I did the briefest amount of research too, because after the original run, my Ninja Turtle stuff falls right off. Never watched the 2003.
And there's a lot. And we'll get there, man. Because I want to get into now, but 2003 show is underrated.
This is what I hear. The 2009 show, I actually watched like 4 episodes of today. I caught up on there a little bit, and then I watched a bunch of listicles, and they were talking about the 100 worst fucking characters, and I'm like, there's 100 bad guys.
Yeah.
What? Who the fuck are these people? But the crazy thing to me is when you look at what happened between Oroku Saki and Hamato Yoshi in the cartoon, it's all about respect of the elderly sensei that comes, right?
Yeah.
And Shredder, Oroku Saki, takes the knife, pins him to the wall. And then once Hamato Yoshi tries to figure it out and he pulls that knife out and they're like, how dare you? You don't bow, you dirty dog. Hey, what should we do? Now you try to kill him? What should we do? And then the sensei says something in Japanese and then he goes, kick the bum out.
It's like, why sensei? What do you want to do? Kick the bum out?
It's so good.
Honestly, that's a pretty awesome power play though. Like I watched it and I was like, that's kind of genius. Like Shredder, you fucking evil genius. Like, because it's either way he loses. Because either he doesn't bow and they find him disrespectful, or he's got to pull the knife out and look like he's gonna murder him.
He's gonna murder him. Yep. And that's the thing, because they don't see him pinned to the wall. It just looks like he's pulling it out of the back of his shirt, right? Out of the back of his gi.
His ass.
From the crack of his ass, he pulls it out. So I like that. And then I find out in like the comics and then in other iterations, it's all about a love, and Shredder killed he killed the love of Splinter's life, and then he ultimately, you assume he kills his daughter at one point, but what he actually does is take his daughter, raise the daughter, and then teach her to like fight against Splinter in like another version.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
And then in one, he's a fucking alien robot thing. Like the fact that he shows up throughout in all these different things. The one thing I appreciate about that, the biggest thing I appreciate about it, is that it's not always rehashing the same story, the same, you know?
Yeah.
You can have this different origin as long as you get to the same point.
Yeah, and that's why I think Turtles has lasted as long as it has. You know, it's like Batman. You know what I mean? And now there's been so many incarnations that, I mean, there's only the same beat that you should keep and also not keep other stuff.
Well, but even that beat you can play with in other versions of Batman. Right?
Yeah.
Because that beat gets twisted in Flashpoint.
True. Yeah.
You know, when Thomas Wayne is Batman.
True. So, I mean, as long as you can keep these stories fresh, that's why I'm always down for just new things. Because not to jump too far ahead, but the new Ninja Turtles, I got to watch that literally right before Flapjacks. Like I had one day, and I was like, if I'm gonna see this movie, this is the only day I'm gonna be able to see it. So I went and goes. Actually, sorry, I did double feature with Mallrats. I had a good '90s day. It felt like
What?
between because they were screening Mallrats on 35. But I saw the new Ninja Turtles movie, and it's vastly different than like anything I've seen with Turtles in a good way, in a really like awesome, really cool, refreshing way.
So what I heard about that is that Seth Rogen was like, we want to play more into the teenage and less into
Yeah.
the ninja.
And I watched this interview with him saying that that they had a script written, like a dialogue like any other movie, and it was the first time also, not because most movies today, especially animated movies, don't have the actor's voice together. Like it just doesn't happen ever.
Right.
Mostly because now they get a lot of celebrities, so celebrities, schedules, whatever. They just have them come to a booth and say their lines. But Seth Rogen wanted everyone to be in the booth together, so all the turtles recorded together. And he said that there was a script. They would do the script, and they would break for lunch, and then the teenagers would just start fucking around with each other and just start joking and doing whatever, kind of being like how we all talk, like kind of busting each other's balls and like joking around about stuff. And he said they went back and did the script again and still wasn't good. And then he eventually told them to, like, we're not doing the script, and to like just talk like how you guys are talking, like on lunch break. And that like comes totally out in the movie. Like you can totally feel that when you watch it.
I saw a thing about the art for the new movie, and it's Mutant Mayhem, right? Yeah. So they wanted it, even the art, to feel like the first time a teenager is in like maybe your freshman art class, and
Yeah,
and
it definitely feels like that. Yeah,
and like
in a good
and what?
and it's in a good way.
Yeah. And so specifically what they ended up doing was they were like, forget everything you've ever learned about art. Imagine it's your first day of freshman year. It's your first art class. You've been drawing since you're a kid and you like it. You have no idea what the rules for art are. And it just should just be emotion as it comes out. And they went through a few iterations of that, people trying to find that sort of space again as they went in. And that's why when they're like not the action scenes, it's a little more wonky, I guess. It's like a little more sort of wiggly.
Lines kind of also like come off characters, like they're like outlines, like will kind of like poke out in a way. That's really cool.
And then they went, what they said though was for the fighting, when everything has to become very focused and very like drawn, that's where it becomes like super clean, super sick. And you know what I mean?
Which is true, and it's not really spoiling it, but except for the explosions. Like when the explosions go off and there's fire, the fire looks completely hand-drawn. Sometimes even like squiggles.
Oh, I love it. So very much worth checking out.
Yeah, worth checking out. There's things I didn't like about it because I don't want to spoil it. The idea of mutant mayhem, I thought it was a little overblown. Like for me, the turtles are Shredder and the turtles, and I feel like there was a little too many mutants that didn't really do much in the movie. But still, the movie kicks ass. It's really good.
But back to S1 E1.
None of this exists. None of this exists without this cartoon.
Specifically without this cartoon.
And like we talked about Batman the animated series. Like when people think, even today, when you think Batman, it's still Batman the animated series that people will constantly, even without realizing that they're referring to you. And I feel like the same thing is with this Turtles cartoon. Like when people think of Ninja Turtles, all of it came from whatever this show is.
It comes directly from this. It really does, because this is chicken and egg. This is straight up OG. This is like the cornerstone of the universe, of everything else. Even if the comics came first, you know what I mean? Even if comics came first, this is what popped it. This is why people were reading the comics, in all honesty.
I think even the van, like the turtle van, or whatever it's called, the shell, I can't remember the name of it, but that's this show. Them riding skateboards.
All of that. All of it. And it's not in the first episode. I think it's by the end of the third episode, either the second or third episode, you've already got Donatello making that van, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they
still complain about it. I'm like, what are you guys complaining about? He's making this kick-ass van.
And then he's bitching while he's doing it. Why is it we that have to save the humans? This is their fight. And I think it's Michelangelo who tells him it's not like we're qualified to do anything else. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. I guess it's what we'll do.
Yeah, they're not.
What other job can we have, bro?
Yeah, it is the cornerstone Ninja Turtles. So like, why are they doing any of this? Because it's like, well, what else are we gonna do?
so good. But in that first episode, what is it? April gets chased down into the sewers because she's on a story. Pardon me. Whew, she's on a story, and she's come on to something kind of hot, right? And she gets chased down into the sewers. They see the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles run them off and scare April to a point to where she passes out. And then she wakes up, and she is still in a sewer talking to turtles.
Yeah, they could have like brought her home at that point. You know, she wouldn't even remembered anything.
So, and we're gonna do this for a while tonight, but that's where I think they sort of retconned that in the show or in the movie as well, because isn't that basically what it is? I think they bring her back to the
story. They bring her home in the movie.
In the movie, they bring her home.
Yeah,
that first time. What the hell? But I think we get.
Well, Big Dan here says pizza culture in America equals Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Period. Yeah, pizza culture in America is tied to Ninja Turtles. Tied to Ninja Turtles. I don't even know if I'd ever had a slice before I became. I can't.
But do you think like that's when the chains started blowing up more, and like pizza became this like family thing?
Dude, how do you put it? Like it's always there. You've always had your take and bakes or whatever.
Commercialized pizza, I guess that kind of exists today.
I mean, I remember commercials for pizza, I think, before this, but I don't remember pizza as like a thing. As like a proto meme. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ninja Turtles memeified pizza.
Before the internet.
Before memes were memes, Ninja Turtles memeified pizza. It's exactly what it did.
But get back to April. I remember I think it was the first episode where we find out she's like the 7th best reporter in the news station.
And
like they're just being these two dudes are just being so mean to April. They're like, why do you even care about this random reporter? And she's like, she's my 7th best reporter.
And then slowly, doesn't she come up in the ranks over the course of the 5 episodes? Because I think in a later one, she eventually gets to 2nd best. I think. But you're right.
Yeah, she starts getting a camera guy.
they crap all over. They crap all over. It's a man's world, baby, and for good or for bad, it's they shit all over April O'Neil. Even when she's got a good story, even when she's got something real on her hands. So they end up, and this is where, to me, like all of this could have just been a movie. It could have been like an hour and 50-minute long movie.
I'm sure you could have bought this as a movie, like on VHS somewhere at the time.
Yeah, it may or may not have come out that way, or it may have taken a couple of years before they put the first season out like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, because it plays like that. Where are we at the end of the first episode? Is when we see more and more of Shredder, right? We start to really learn what Shredder is, who Shredder is.
Which is like, so at first, also I want to talk too, like in the first episode when they're walking around New York City, like they had to keep New York City like, still in the late 80s, 90s, right? So New York is still the way
Dirty.
It was in there in that time. Dirty. And so they had to keep it the same vibe to still make it for kids. So instead it's like an old lady who has a gun and like a guy selling like wacky noses and teeth on the side of the street.
Instead of slinging dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what my favorite thing is in this? Is also when Splinter is telling, I almost forgot about this. Holy shit. When Splinter is telling about how the Foot Clan became like this major crime syndicate after he left Japan, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember what the first crime you see a foot soldier doing is?
It's not when I know they go up to one dude and they go stick him up with like a bunch of sticks.
It's right before that. You see one of the Foot Clan jump out from behind a building with a Coke machine on the front of it.
Oh, kick all the cans out. This horrible crime, stealing soda.
I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
All this rampant crime, they keep stealing soda cans.
It takes all the soda. It takes a guy's candy out of his hand. They kidify the crime so much, and
then like bring it back to like, more New York stuff. So it's like when I saw everything was named Ninja, like the Ninja Pizza, the Ninja Video Store, the Ninja Laundry. And my first initial thought was like, oh, everything was ninja. I mean, I could see that being a thing in the 90s because ninjas were kind of everywhere. Like, why not make Ninja Pizza? Of course, that'd be popular.
Right.
But then as the episode's progressing, it's like, oh, it really is owned by the Shredder. So it's like the Shredder is trying to hide out in the city by also naming everything ninja.
So funny. So I don't know if you ever did. Did you ever take karate as a kid?
I did. I got as far as a yellow belt. And I was actually just talking about this story on set because this guy, the actor, UK actor, Gabe, asked me, because we were talking about action movies. He's like, you ever fight or want to? I was like, not really. Like, I love action movies because I don't like fighting people. And I was like, I fought in this karate thing once. And I remember, like, beating this kid in this tournament. And then I just felt bad that I just punched this kid and kicked. I don't know. I felt bad about it. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And that's why I left karate.
Seriously. At a yellow belt.
Yeah.
Just couldn't.
I was like, because I won and I beat him up. I just felt like bad about it. I was like, man, I don't know. This was a lot more fun when I wasn't hurting anybody.
I think I participated in 1 or 2 tournaments when I was a kid. And I just didn't like it because I didn't like getting hit. Like, we would spar in class, of course, but, every once and again you get hit, but you meet these out of town kids that are there with that competition in their eyes. That's
like some Cobra Kai shit.
I didn't like that. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I took though from the time I was 8 until I was 18. I'm a 2nd degree black belt in Wado-Ryu karate.
You're really a black belt?
Yeah, bro. I'm 2nd degree black belt. I got my black belt when I was, I think, 16 or 17.
Can you still pull out some moves?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where were you when I was making this action movie?
I got
like 2 months.
I was in
ago.
Tennessee. I got full blown, bro. I got pics to prove it. I got certificates. I was a member of so Wado-Ryu is what is it? It's something Way of Peace and Harmony. It translates to the School of the Way of Peace.
You ever did any tournaments?
Like I said, I was not a big tournament guy. I didn't like getting hit. I really didn't like getting hit. Huh?
Did you break some boards?
I could break boards, yeah. I could break boards.
Damn, I didn't know you had this whole karate. You're a secret ninja. I didn't even know.
Well, that's why I'm a good ninja. I keep it quiet like you're supposed to.
I'm just waiting for someone to break into the laundromat. And then you just start busting out some you just pull Jackie Chan it, you grab your mop and then just start like blah, blah, blah.
Well, so that's the other thing, right? Like it's always about self-defense. So oh my God, this is gonna get fun. My karate teacher, his name was Dale Kirby. He's still with us, God bless him. But his sensei was a guy named Taylor Hayden. And then Taylor's sensei was the guy who brought Wado-Ryu from, and James, you're going to shit when I tell you this because it's straight up Karate Kid 101 shit, who brought our style from, of all places, all parts of Japan, Okinawa.
Wow.
Because
that's awesome.
Yeah, because it was World War II stuff. It's straight up like Pat Morita shit.
Wow. That's literally the Karate Kid.
It is. I know. And that's what sounds crazy. But it's what absolutely sounds crazy. But my karate teacher, was he competed a lot in a lot of tournaments. He was also a big samurai sword guy. So every summer we would do like a 2 week just like sword training class, like samurai sword training class.
You have sword training?
We did, yeah, but it was only like literally it was like 1 or 2 weeks during the summer. It was nothing major.
So when are you gonna change your garage into a dojo?
So done that in the past. Like I would hang a heavy bag and stuff. Whatever. Anyway,
damn, I didn't know about this whole ninja side of
bro,
you. This is blowing my mind.
at my dad's old house, and I have them packed up now at the. I think they're packed away in.
You got any old rivals? You know, you
No.
got like your Johnny Lawrence out there who's like Ben Johnson ruined my life.
No.
You know, 30 years ago.
It was no. It's ours was very mellow. It was very, very mellow. But I do have tucked away at the tub. I've got a bunch of my old certificates. I've got my old gi. I've got my old belts. All that stuff's tucked away. Yeah.
Would you credit Ninja Turtles as why you got into karate?
One of the reasons, yes. I would 100% say yes. Because, like, so you want to do what they do on the TV, right? And this guy, Mr. Kirby, he went to, God, his parents went to the church that I went to, and he was raised up at the same time, but my parents knew him because his parents were much older. He was probably in his like maybe 30s or 40s during this time. His parents were in like their 60s. And then my parents at this point were probably in their 40s too. They were about the same age as Mr. Kirby. And he was getting a school together in Westmoreland. And
This sounds like a karate movie.
dude,
That's how every kung fu movie, karate movie starts. Like a dude comes to a new place, like I want to start a school.
comes to the
And then
small
has to,
town,
like, train.
has to recruit wherever he can. You know what I mean? But our class got big at a certain point. We had kids coming up from Gallatin to train with him. There was one kid who was straight up just a sword student of his. He was this kid named Nick, and he would come down, and we would go through our straight up class, and then Nick would work with him another 2 to 3 hours after we all left, just on like sword technique. And he would come, I want to say, from like northern Kentucky just to train with him. So each time he came down, it was like a 5-hour drive, something like that. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's awesome. I didn't know you had this whole pass. Now I'm gonna make you pull out some of those moves one of these days.
I still can. I got some of that shit left inside of me. Absolutely.
Yeah, there might be a fight scene with Steeler in your future.
Now I'm more shaped like a turtle, though. That's the thing. my back's all arched with a big spine on it. You know, like, very much so.
Just put like your undies with like a fake, turtle back on you, and just paint you green from head to toe.
Well, did you see the shell at the tub when you were here? I have a full-blown old school turtle shell, not a Ninja Turtle toy.
Damn, we can make this a reality.
It came from like El Salvador, I think. My uncle, it came from my uncle, and my uncle did some weird sort of stuff. So maybe I don't have the shell that I probably should.
Let's do like an Eddie Murphy thing, where it's like you just play every single Ninja Turtle.
Shit, and it's just the bandana change.
Just the band, yeah.
No. We'll do it. We'll make it happen. We will absolutely figure it out. We'll just we'll work on some kata.
Nice. But I feel like even when I was growing up, I know my brother did karate too, but I feel like, maybe because just the culture switch or whatever, but the idea of ninjas and karate and kung fu kind of feels like not a thing anymore. Or like not like this thing that like most people would just do.
So I don't, and me and Jen ain't got no kids, but like I also don't know of a lot of like karate schools. I feel like that is,
and they were everywhere. when I was young. I mean, I just remember them literally every shopping plaza. There was Chinese restaurant, pizza store,
Karate school.
karate studio.
Yep. And you're not wrong, that because that is my recollection too. That's
Yeah.
and I think it goes I think it goes like for the height of karate, it would have been vets coming back from World War II and Vietnam, bringing like martial arts with them. Then that gets into the culture, and from there you get Karate Kid. And then from Karate Kid, you get people being like, "Oh, I can set up a school and make money, rad." And then you get Ninja Turtles, and then it's like, I get money hand over fist, and we get to eat pizza. Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, that brings up a good question because I was, watching some documentary stuff, and they mentioned that there's a certain point, and when I mean, this is I guess with anything that gets super popular, there's always the group of people that try to like bring it down and try to find reasons to be like this is bad. And there was a lot of things about turtles being violent or too violent for kids. But I don't know if that was ever like a thing in your zeitgeist or
not.
Just agree with that in any way.
My parents didn't care. like as far as that went, they just and I'm an only kid, so if it was after school and mom and dad was still working, I would just watch whatever. Saturday mornings, this was a staple. Once the first 3 seasons went into syndication, like it was every day for a minute, So it didn't that kind of stuff didn't hit too hard for me. At all. That stuff didn't hit too hard. I do think it's very funny though now when you look at it again through our 2023 lens.
Yeah.
Everybody's packing guns. Everybody's got some kind of gun.
Even the old lady. But I mean, to me, that just feels like a commentary on like just New York at that time, where it's like, yeah, old lady had to be packing because somebody was gonna jump her.
Did you it's in the 4th episode. I think it's in the 4th episode when the neutrinos show up from Dimension X.
That's okay. That's when like the teenagers, right?
Yeah, the hot rodding teenagers from outer space.
Yeah, like adults making them not have fun. They're getting
all they want to do is have a war, man. Like that's it. There's no fun.
And the girl's famous voice actress that I couldn't remember what the name was, but I've heard that voice before.
So, well, I mean, I can't tell you anybody's name in this right now. It's I'm sorry, it's that time of night for me. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of this voice talent is fucking like essential voice talent for the time. But like when they show up, and this is another wonderful thing. I don't know if it's a New York City thing. You're a kid from New York. You could probably tell me better. But did you notice that they changed the World Trade Center to the Global Trade Center?
Oh yeah, I was like, that's weird.
They referred to it as the Global Trade Center, but you saw the Twin Towers. That was cool.
Yes. I mean, maybe it's a copyright thing because I remember learning in film school that the New York City skyline is actually copyrighted.
Yeah, you have to change it. You have to change it. You
Yeah.
can't really shoot, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I feel like that's fucked up.
I mean, yeah, I think it's fucked up because I mean, it's outside. You know what I mean? It's like saying that this mountain is copyrighted or like this bridge. You know what I mean? It's like shit that exists in our world that's just out there.
And
it doesn't make sense. That's just New York trying to make money because everybody wants to film in New York.
Yep. If you're gonna use our skyline, you're gonna pay us money. That's mafioso right there. That's old school.
So that's the reason why I think they probably changed it. For whatever.
For the name of it, yeah. And it's just the height of buildings and shit and all that. But we're still barely through episode 1, and like this has been going on for so long. This is like nostalgia is cancer.
There's so much turtles to talk about because this show literally goes beyond even the show.
Well,
because of all the merch, all the fucking things it spawned. I mean,
so as we go on, it is we're introduced to backstory with Splinter, Shredder. We're introduced to the Foot Clan. We learn who Shredder is
And,
in
you know, the
this.
Foot Clan was meant to be a parody of the Hand that was in Marvel.
Again, one of the greatest things ever. So the comic again strikes. It's supposed to be, I think they're all a play sort of on Daredevil, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what
And the original creator also said that he made them turtles because he thought it was funny, because ninjas are supposed to be fast and
or
turtles are
slow.
slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great. Who wins, the turtle or the hare? And what do they do later on down the road? Eventually, I forget what season. They
Oh yeah, they fight like a rabbit, like Shinobi something. Like,
Usagi Yojimbo.
yeah, Usagi
Yep.
Yojimbo.
Got his own spinoff too as a result. So, episode 2. Episode 2, and we're gonna have to fast forward through most of this stuff, to be honest, from this point forward. Like, if we're really like getting to brass tacks to try and get through a 5-episode season, James.
Yeah, imagine we try to do this whole thing. You know, that's why I was like, you know, we're gonna do Turtles, but we're just gonna watch these 5 episodes. Also, because it's not streaming anywhere.
Which is
It's only on those 5 episodes on YouTube.
which is nuts to me. Which is absolutely nuts.
It's not like Paramount or Nickelodeon doesn't own them.
Right.
Like,
And every other iteration is on streaming somewhere. Is
the movies, all the shows, they exist. The only other show that doesn't exist is the live action show they try to make once.
which sucks, because that's the thing. That's the thing you want to like eat hallucinogens and watch,
Yeah,
because
and I watched it as a kid because I always thought it was like the 4th movie, kind of. I guess that's how they try to play it as.
right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd watch it now, I've seen some videos now of how they did the animatronics and the faces. It's pretty scary.
Animatronics as faces is terrifying.
Yeah.
If you see raw animatronics without
And
the
you can
covering,
look up Google, anyone out there. Google what so they have an original mask still. Somebody has it somewhere. And then I'm pretty sure it's Donatello. If you look at what that Donatello mask looks like right now, it's horrifying. The silicone is like disintegrated off its face.
it is straight up. What is it? The children call it nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
It's deeply
But-
terrifying.
What's really interesting, if you look at the BTS and them controlling the animatronic heads, it's pretty amazing. Like, they literally have a dude who's sitting off in the back with part of it attached to his face, and then he has like handlebars here that are controlling the eyes and like lips, so it's like moving to his face. Plus, he's like controlling it like with his hands, just like the mouth. It's pretty crazy.
And it, like, that's the kind of stuff that I feel like, while yes, we are moving to more easy, simpler sort of technology in what we can do with CG, I think you lose so much of the human element and stuff when you do that. And to me, the fact that there's a guy who has to perfectly time that with an actor's performance, with everything else, is like, that's kind of shit that Orson Welles talks about. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of like human spirit. That's us.
Yeah. And I think that's why I love that movie so much, because those turtles still feel real, even though you know it's like an animatronic. There's even a shot in the movie where you can see like an actor's face through Donatello's mask. But I mean, it's still like, I don't know, those turtles felt way more real to me than anything like the Michael Bay movies ever did, you know?
I remember watching Raphael get thrown through that pane glass window. Yeah. And the roof. And like, 10 years old, was just like, jaw on the floor. This can't happen. This is a thing. And then you're like, so I cry. I'm a crier at certain.
I mean, that
things.
movie's emotional when Leo has to like look at Raph, who's basically dying in a bathtub, and he's just like sitting next to him. They got into a huge fight like earlier, you know?
Dude, there's a and these I do still have, and I know exactly where they are. They're at Dad's store. I have almost the entire set of the original Ninja Turtles trading cards that came out when the first movie came out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That card of Leo sitting there while Raph is in the
Oh,
bathtub. Do you know what I'm talking about? Just
yeah,
that still frame, and
yeah,
like Leo's got his leg half kicked out, his head is
yeah.
down,
That's oh
and
my
the
god.
shell in the thing. Like,
Yeah,
bro, I'm goosebumping
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah,
This movie is perfect. You know, it only has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
because people are scum.
Because that shit is so emotional. If we're just literally a movie about fucking turtles, and it's just like, they've never. I feel like I haven't reached that peak again.
And then when Splinter astral projects into the
Yeah.
fire, and he's telling them,
Yes.
oh
When
god.
Donnie and Casey Jones are bonding over fixing the car, and they're kind of just insulting each other back and forth.
I mean, there's a level of emotion that hits that is oh god, that is straight up raw cinema. Do you know what I mean? Like it
All right,
is.
next time we hang out, man, we're watching some Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
'Cause I saw it in theaters like a year or two ago. Like Nighthawk was just doing a screening, and I was like, I gotta go watch that.
like if you want to just sit in a puddle and hug each other, like yeah, okay, fine, we'll do that. Yeah,
There's some
good.
gags. And I remember there was one of the fight scenes, like they find a Foot Clan, and Leo has like a sword, and he's like swing the sword, the Foot Clan dunks, and they do it like twice, where the guy ducks the sword, and then the third time Leo doesn't swing, and the guy just ducks by himself, and then he points and laughs, and then he kicks him, and then kicks the guy behind him.
It's perfect. Like it's absolutely, and those are the gags that you get in the cartoon, and that's where like live action. I feel like they hit the cartoon with that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I feel like they
Gave it
really tapped
darkness
into
that,
it.
like, it's why I love '89 Batman. You know, it taps in this darkness that feels gritty, but also feels like a big comic book, and still kind of goofy overall.
Which you, have you read Batman and Ninja Turtles, or have you seen
I've seen
that?
the movie.
Yeah.
The movie, yeah. Movie. I actually thought that movie was gonna be way more kid friendly, so I didn't watch it at first. And then I watched it, and I was like, this is not as kid friendly as I thought it was.
Doesn't Shredder
It's awesome.
kill Batman?
Yeah, like they literally straight up stab fucking people. Like it's crazy. Then Batman becomes a fucking bat monster thing. But and the movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody go watch Batman Ninja Turtles. That movie kicks ass. And it's also really good Ninja Turtles. So the 2003 show actually did a thing called Turtles Forever, where there's early multiverse stuff where they went into this show,
Yep.
universe, and then they even go further back to the comic book, and they have like a meet between this show, the 2003 show, and the comic book characters all together. And the comic book characters all black and white too, like they're in that like
In
black
that
and white
style, that
keyboard.
like boxy faced, boxy head
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. Again, here's a thing that has spanned literally 40 years at this point. I mean, almost 35
Yeah.
years at this point.
Who's the creator again? The guy who marries Julie. You found that out?
Julie Strain, Kevin Eastman.
Yeah.
Kevin Eastman.
Kevin East. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy I hope is making lots of money.
Isn't it sad that the same guy who did Heavy Metal 2000 gave us this?
This yeah.
Do you think Ninja Turtles forgives Heavy Metal 2000?
I think so.
Yeah,
For sure. Even though, I mean, like I said, this isn't the comic book. I mean,
sure.
I feel like definitely with this show, you sign a paycheck and let, everybody else take over.
Oh.
Because even the toys weren't him.
Yeah. No. But it's like, pay me for life? Okay.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Great. Pay me for life? Thank you. But so second episode though, we get introduced to Krang. Krang finally shows up in the second one. And like this is where it hits a wonderful note for me. You find out that all of Shredder's current technology is actually what? Ancient alien technology.
Well, it's from Dimension X.
From
right?
Dimension X, yeah. Interdimensional alien technology. All right. And I sort of forget, like, we're introduced a little bit more to who April is because she is still tagging along with the Turtles. In the second one, second episode, I think that's the very first time they find the Technodrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
sort of nearish the end of that episode, right?
Yeah.
That they kind of stumble across it. one of them sees Krang, and that's the impetus for episode 3, where is it?
Yeah, because Krang, I think, saves them in episode 3, or saves Michelangelo for some reason. Episode 3,
and he's
from
like,
those.
I keep seeing this brain guy. He's like a brain without a body. And the other guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's funny when like they'll see something weird and they'll be like, "You're crazy," and April's like, "You guys are talking turtles."
leave it to her to be like the grounding force in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fucking
Be like, that's strange. That can't exist. It's like you're literally giant turtles with a giant rat father.
Well, yeah, but that makes sense. That's perfect.
Krang though. I wish Zach Amico was here. I've seen him do good Krang.
Oh
impersonation.
my god, I can imagine. I can imagine
But,
Zach pulls that out so well.
yeah, I'm trying to like, why did Krang save him in the 3rd episode?
See, and
Right.
I think it was to piss Shredder off because Shredder's still not been working on his body.
He wants his like robot suit, which is the funniest looking robot suit ever. Just a big fat guy basically, and he's just in the tummy.
But okay, and this gets into other avenues. What they did with Krang. God, I watched, like I said, 4 or 5 episodes of, I think it's either the 2009 or 2012 one earlier today.
It's like the 3D show, right?
Yeah. So the Krang in that is an actual like alien race, and there are multiple Krang. There's like they will show up in their robotic bodies, but it's almost like the fucking Men in Black showing up, right? They're all in almost the same suit except for a couple of them. And then when you get like deeper in the ship, they're all in just these basic robot bodies. But the one
look like humans.
Yeah,
Like they like pretending to be humans.
the ones that go out into public and have to do stuff
Pretty awesome.
are dressed like the Men in Black, and their Krangs
And
are
without
hidden.
spoiling it, because I think you kind of spoiled this for me. The new movie kind of hints at something like that, and now I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that might have been what's going on.
Well, that's that series. So it's no spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2009.
I meant like the new movie. There's something that they kind of hint at. Now that you just kind of explained it to me.
Oh,
That I didn't catch the first time.
got it. Okay. And I still haven't seen it, but they do that there. And then like the Krang that I always knew was just the brain from Dimension
brain,
X.
yeah.
Who's trying to get back? Or to pull his army in. By the time what else happens in, I think it's in episode 2 or 3, but we also get introduced to Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh, we do. Shout out, yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady. Fucking gotta love those guys.
And like that's the other fucking amazing part about this 5-day rollout that they did that's back to back to back is they literally stacked it in such a way that it's like each night new characters, new toys. Do you know what I mean? Because your first
They knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they were doing. In their first episode, there's 6 toys right there. Shredder, April,
God damn.
or 7. Shredder, April, Splinter, and all 4 turtles. The next night, you get Krang, and then I think Bebop and Rocksteady are either near the end of the 2nd or into the 3rd episode. So then you got 8, 9, 10 toys. 10 toys.
Do you think that Turtles like outdoes Star Wars in the sense of like the franchise, like of a franchise with this many toys made for, or maybe even He-Man? Like I feel like Turtles has got to be like either the most amount of toys or like the most at least successful. Isn't that right?
I would say, like over the years, because Star Wars has at least a decade on Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Because 77 was the first movie? Yeah.
I mean, they're pumping those, like you said, pumping them toys out. Even until today, I'm still seeing toys from this cartoon being made.
So that's the kicker is I don't know if it surpasses Star Wars, but I would suggest that it is on par with Star Wars. And I think both Star Wars and Ninja Turtles blow He-Man away, even though they're still making He-Man, and they're reissuing all the old ones and all of that shit. Yeah. Like, I still think these two franchises, with what's still being made, and I would actually challenge probably now, Turtles might take it over.
Because and I blame that on Disney because I don't really see a lot of. I mean, I still see a lot of Star Wars toys, but they're very stuck with whatever is coming out. When if you go on Super 7's website right now, there's like hundreds of different Ninja Turtles toys you can get, both from the old show, both just in random costumes, the Ultimates, and then there's NECA that does from the movie and other shit. I mean, there's not a stoppage of. I've never seen a stoppage of Ninja Turtles toys. Even the new movie has its own line of new toys.
I do hear a spoiler in the new movie, and this I don't think is a massive spoiler, but I think it's a nod to what we're talking about here. So apparently there's a scene where Michelangelo shows up in like a Hawaiian shirt at one point. Again, I know nothing about it.
Yeah, that's a toy. Yeah, isn't that like a Hawaiian like Michelangelo toy?
It's one of the original like surfing safari turtles or whatever.
And the Super 7 has that too. Like they have their reissue of that Mike. I almost bought it.
but yeah, like all of that shit to me is
Samurai Leo. I remember that.
I remember Samurai Leo hardcore. Yeah. Hardcore. And that's the other part is like they were able to really start like specializing stuff. And then what is it? Genghis Frog shows up at one point, like later on down the road. Leatherhead, all of the bad guys, every time a new character came out, you got a new toy. You got another piece of the puzzle. There is a Toxic Crusader thing that is basically a Ninja Turtle toy, but it just got a repaint. And that's true.
Yeah. Isn't there also like another Ninja Turtle toy? It's like a toxic monster or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
I don't remember the name of it, but I remember being something. Muckman.
And everybody thought it was a Toxic Crusader toy because it fit more along that line. So there's Muckman, but then there's literally, I want to say it was like Toxie's hoverboard or some shit. That is just the same toy, but it's just a repaint. It's literally a repaint of a Ninja Turtle toy. And Playmates was like, we'll just put different branding on it. Yeah.
Amazing.
May have been a skateboard.
So,
yeah.
No, I think it was, had been a skateboard because Toxic had a skateboard. Yep. So do you got a favorite turtle?
Oh, so Jen and I were talking about this earlier today. We'll start with Jen's favorite from the cartoon series, Michelangelo.
I didn't even know Jen had a favorite. That's amazing.
Yeah, Michelangelo. And the reason why it was Mike is because when she watched it, she would be like, he was the only one who had any personality.
He's the party dude. That's why.
Party guy. But for me personally, across the cartoon and then how the movie continued to inform the cartoon, it was always Raphael. Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a Michelangelo guy too because he's the most fun. Like I said, he's the party dude. And the second was always Raph. I mean, Raph is just he's the one who had the most emotions. You know, like he's rude but cool. You know,
he's rude but cool. The fact that he actually feels things when everybody else is like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. And he's like, it's not okay. Nothing is okay.
But I've had a couple of people recently who told me that Donatello is their favorite. And I was like, really? Donatello.
I get that. And I get that from, and I don't know if it's like first.
He's always my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I like Donatello, but he was a fucking nerd. And they all had cool weapons, and he was just a nerd.
I'm going out on a limb, man. I'm going to tell you, I think my least favorite has always been Leo.
Really, but Leo had the cool swords, and and especially like what really makes me love Leo is the movie.
Sure. Okay. Yes, I can see that. But like for me, the reason why is it's also I think it's because of that maybe it's the notion of leadership.
Yeah, yeah. Big Dan says Raphael's his favorite.
Always. Yeah, always. Uh but
But as a character, though, I also fucking love Casey Jones. Can't forget about Casey
you
Jones.
can never forget Casey Jones. God, what is that actor's name who plays him in the movie too? He's so
I remember he's in a bunch of
dude,
shit.
he was in
And
Oz.
it's crazy because he's bald now,
Yeah.
or he is bald normally.
Yeah. He was in Oz too, you know what I mean? And then he was on one
Yeah.
of the Law and Orders or some shit.
I think I watched him in like Sopranos as something.
I'm sure you did.
Or maybe not Sopranos, but it was some show. I just can't remember. But he just didn't look like Casey Jones, and I was like, I don't know who that guy
Bro,
is.
he was in Wet
And
Hot
then
American
he beat-
Summer. Like he's been in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, that's Casey Jones, because he doesn't look like him. He literally looks nothing like Casey Jones.
So, and this is why like we could just do a Ninja Turtle podcast because there are
Talk about it forever.
well, but across the pantheon, there are so many good guys, so many bad guys, so many in betweeners.
Yeah.
So many.
And I'll give a shout out to April O'Neil. I mean, April O'Neil rules. I feel like she could just be, like a Lois Lane damsel in distress, which she kind of is, but I still feel like she has like this strong purpose in the crew of being a reporter.
The best is I think it's either episode 3 or 4, right before this first like little mini arc gets wrapped up. April looks at Splinter at one point. Yeah, Splinter just got like the piss knocked out of him, right? Because he gets the wind knocked out of him at a thing. They take him back home to convalesce, and then he starts to get better, and the turtles leave to go figure out, hey, who fucked up our boss? And then April is left with him. Splinter starts to feel better. I just remember this giant rat on this bed. And then she looks down at him and she goes, you feeling okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm feeling better. And she's like, good. I need to go home, check a couple of things. I haven't been home since I met you guys. And I need to like check my mail, get girlied up,
Have a life.
Yeah. And she's like, they're out doing their thing. You seem to be fine. I need to shower, maybe,
That's what makes she grounds that everyone, she grounds the show and all like the turtles. The turtles, I think, lose their story without April O'Neil because they need, to ground her.
Well, it's the what do you call it? It's the strange person in a strange world sort of situation with her. You know what I mean? Because she is a stranger, literally in their strange world. And she's also your everyman. She's the one that's like, if this happened to you, when you're out in the mean streets of New York City and you run into a bunch of turtles, be an April. Be an April. Embrace it, have your initial emotion, and then just sort of fucking roll with it. Like, it'll be fine. It's all okay.
Yeah. Just don't be Megan Fox.
No, boo, no. There was something else I was going to say about real quickly about April in general. Is it's like, so she goes home. In the second episode, a guy straight up calls her a bimbo. Straight up calls her a bimbo. And I'm watching this like earlier today, and I was like, you know what? I miss the 80s. And not because, you want to go around calling people bimbos, but because it was in kids shows. And like, I think that's awesome.
That was for the adults to listen to. So like, when the mom was watching with their kids, they're just like, oh, that fucking, turtles, go beat them up.
He called that nice lady a bimbo. Well, and it's the same thing in Toxic Crusaders. One of the bad girls in that, her name is Bimbette. Like literally, it's these plays on these terms. They're calling people bums and bimbos, and it's like, you know what?
Throw the bum out.
I'm okay with this for a kid's show. This is perfect. It's how it should be. I don't know. it's too good. It's too good. And then
And almost like something like this, the phenomenon that was this show as a kid show. I mean, I don't think can or like will happen again.
no,
Not just necessarily the Turtles, but just in general. Because kids don't really watch cartoons anymore. I mean, even toys, toys are made for adults now. Like when movies come out, like the Todd McFarlane toys are literally made for adults for me to go buy.
so isn't that fucked up? Like isn't that fucked up? And the reason why I say that is because like that level, you're 100% right. That level of like national phenomena will never happen again. And part of it is because media is so splintered, right? There's not
exactly.
There's not a thing that can literally catch everybody, and you can't get this one thing that anybody's talking about anymore, because no, I haven't seen that cartoon because I was 500 channels away watching this other awesome cartoon.
Or I was watching 3 seconds on my phone. I didn't know there was a whole 30 minutes of this.
Oh, I just thought that was some goofy meme some guy came up with. I don't know their source material. I don't know that they didn't just shoot the rat saying, "I'm coming." Like, what's he been doing on that roof all day? I'm coming. But there's not, and like, and it makes a part of you sort of wonder if there's a level of intentionality to that, because with a thing like Star Wars, with a thing like Ninja Turtles, with these things that really grab people, the closest is like Marvel Cinematic stuff.
Yeah, but even that still, I don't think
it's so splintered. It really is, and it's.
I think that's also a bigger question too of what even is pop culture. These things. I think you look back at 80s and 90s pop culture, and it's so like definitive, And today it's not like that. I mean, they're so splintered of like what is really fame, when there's like internet people plus. There's still TV stars, you know what I mean? There's still like, there's not what it was, or it was like, it's like, this is what pop culture is.
I know more kids that can tell you about Minecraft versus like another thing. So part of it's drifted to YouTube and video games is where a lot of it's gone.
It's huge. Like even video games.
So
I mean, you can be a kid loving Fortnite, and then there's still this whole, Call of Duty subculture. And then even with YouTube, there's like how many fucking, we watch YouTube, but we don't watch, like John will mention a channel that I've never even heard of, and this guy has millions of subscribers.
Millions, and he's been doing it for 5 years, and you've never heard of him. You have no idea who they are. And I watch shit on YouTube. Like I love YouTube stuff. And again, it's like you're always finding somebody like, how did I not know this existed? And I don't know. While it's cool to a degree, it is not the level of cool that, 3 channels plus cable and a global phenomena is cool. That is cool. Like Ninja Turtles. Yeah. You could walk outside and spit and hit some asshole.
Even like other shows were doing it. I mean, I remember like Full House had a scene where one of them was wearing like a Ninja Turtles like pajamas.
It was huge. Yeah. And they had to pay for that, but they also wanted that bump. They wanted that bump. I don't know, bro. Like that's the thing. You can't get it again. You can't.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But I guess that's the future of what it is.
It's sadness. Yeah, the future is sadness. You're right.
But at least now, as an adult, I can still buy the toys that I could never buy when I was a kid.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like that's also a thing where.
Oh, and Dwayne's leaving. Peace out, Dwayne. We didn't even get a chance to talk about I heard about your amazing rendition.
Dwayne's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I want to hear that song.
I want to see it on video.
You and John.
Done. Peace, Dwayne. Be well. But yeah, you'll never bottle that magic again. Ever. And the
Yeah.
toys for adult thing is it makes me sound like an asshole because I have a few of them, but I also see how that's a massive cancer too. Like if you have one or two pieces that are really special to you, perfect. But I see dudes out there that are like, give me every single one. I need this variant, that variant, the other variant.
Oh yeah. I mean, I want a lot of that shit, but I'm also, I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna go
Yeah, but
bankrupt.
bro, and also like, I'm sorry to say it, but there's like a weird level of obnoxious that comes with that.
Yeah.
I
True.
mean, but that's my personal opinion. If it brings you joy, it brings you joy. But like, I don't know, man. I have like 3 or 4 of the Super 7 reaction toxies. I haven't gone
Yeah.
and gotten the big ones. I haven't gone any of that because
Crusader Ultimates look so
look
good. Though.
amazing. But like, I also don't want to pay
Yeah.
$70.
Yeah, that's why I haven't. That's why I don't get all of them either. Much as like I like the window shop a lot online.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely jerked off to it. Yeah, 100 times, definitely.
And like right now, Super Sevens actually they just put out the Turtles figures for this show, like the direct like the reaction figures for this show. And it's $80 for all 4 of them.
No,
And I was
that
like,
might be doable. Like if it's all
I
4,
know.
that might be doable.
Yeah.
But
and they look just like the cartoon. It's amazing. 'Cause I have 2 Turtles reaction figures, and it's Shredder and Donatello, and it's because I somehow found them online for both of them for $20.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
The
but Donatello's my least favorite. Like I need Michelangelo, and also Shredder is shirtless for some reason, so it's weird that I just have just like a shirtless Shredder, a shredded
it's kind of
Shredder.
hot. But like, but I do get it. You know what I mean? I get it. I wouldn't get it. It's also shit that ends up on like Christmas list and birthday list. You know, like yeah,
One,
yeah.
Now, have you ever do you know the porn star April O'Neil?
Yes, yes.
I got to meet her once a couple years ago when we did the porn convention with Troma.
Oh, what?
She was fun to hang out with.
See, that's
That was the first time I met her because I saw her and I saw the name of April O'Neil and I was like, I didn't read that right. I did like a double turn and I was like, oh fuck, this is your April O'Neil. You know it's from Ninja Turtles, and she was like, yeah.
and then you went through your phone later to make sure it was the right April O'Neil. You know what a better one is though? What a better name of play on it that would be is if she did stuff with her butthole and she was Gapril O'Neil.
Oh shit!
Huh?
Damn.
But Neil was spelled Kneel. You know, so it's like gaping while she's kneeling down and spreading cheek. Yeah. Look, I'll come up with your porn names all day long, guys.
You got a whole other career that you should be focusing on.
I mean, you know what? Like, listen, that one I'll give people. But other than that, if you want your porn name, hit us up in the email. Totally.toonular@gmail.com. Tell me your fetish. I will come up with your porn name for you.
All right. Let's go around fucking.
What
are you
back
giving
and
this
forth
show?
line and go around a what? No, we're going to back and forth.
I'm used to being like there's a circle, but everybody's gone. Everybody keeps leaving us behind.
No,
But what are you giving this show?
I mean, all day long, it's a success. All day long for me, massive success. Yes.
It doesn't feel good to have that.
It does. It does. Very much so. I had it in my phone.
It was great to hear it in the movie. I keep forgetting sometimes that's where I stole it
That's
from.
where you got it from. And then when he finishes, and he just goes, success after the door closes.
Yeah.
Fucking perfect. But no, I mean, always gonna have flaws. It is a thing I remember and love from my youth. I'll always love it, but I don't know that I would always just be like, oh, jerking off to Ninja Turtles. That it's a thing I love. I will say that. It's a massive success.
Well, I'm gonna give it a little
I really enjoy
What's your
coming.
favorite thing?
because because I mean, I think this show is great. I mean, yeah, is it like it's like any of these other cartoons where it's like, yeah, I watched a lot of it. It could feel repetitive and kind of annoying. But I don't know, I just love fucking Ninja Turtles, man. That came out good. But I love the Ninja Turtles. I do. And this show feels like probably one of the most impactful cartoons ever. You know, I always talk about Batman the animated series, but this is like totally up there of just like a culture that it completely created. You know, which is like we said, is never going to happen again. So, and I don't know, that's what makes me love the show as much as I do. And said everything everybody thinks about Ninja Turtles comes from this show. Even we have a pizza place down the street from us, Joe and John's, recently featured in one of the last episodes of How To with John Wilson. They got a whole like this in the '80s Ninja Turtles painted in front of it, like a whole Ninja Turtles like motif
like a fucking mural going on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like saying that the show is too perfect and that right and what it means, and I think it can still last. Like I mean, I don't know. I'm not a guy who has kids, but imagine. I feel like if I would show this to kids, they would still gravitate to it. Because it doesn't feel dated either. You know, I guess it is, but it never feels too dated.
I think that's also why it's lasted 35 years already, as even just a concept, is because as animation changes, as it grows, as we dip in and out of like live action CGI stuff, doing straight up animated things, whatever, like these are interesting stories that you can tell with very interesting characters. You know what I mean? And there's always space to go. We didn't even get into Baxter Stockman and the Mousers. Like none of that. Like this is
there's so much that goes into this. I mean, if we actually get the full show on fucking streaming finally, then you know, maybe we can actually get more into it. Because there's so much of the show we like literally there's like this show gets deep, like really deep. When they go to like interdimensional shit and more Krangs and yeah, like you said, all the characters we haven't talked about, like your Jimbo and stuff. Like there's tons of shit this show brings into it. I think even the Rocksteady and Bebop that are in the second movie that aren't Rocksteady and Bebop, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
In the second movie, like they don't have rocks. I think those characters also still pop into the show at some point.
Doesn't one of them become Raphael's pet? At one point, his name is like Slash or Spike or something, because Raphael has a pet turtle that Shredder, and this I think it might be a different series of Ninja Turtles. It might be one of the later series, but Shredder steals his turtle, mutates it, and then like he becomes like this sort of anti-hero. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad.
Oh, I vaguely kind of remember that.
I think his name is, it's either like Spike or Slash or something like that. I forget. But yeah. So again, there's a bazillion fucking stories you can tell with it. Like I love it.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles fucking rules. Forever love it. And we'll definitely get back to it at some point. Just Paramount, fucking put these episodes on there. What are you doing? Put them on. Now, you ready for next week?
What are we talking about? Hey, Joey's in the chat. He says we left our tent flap wide open. Yeah.
You dinged up.
What are we talking about?
So to keep up the tradition of Jendi Tarkovsky. So do you know he has another new?
No.
I watched one episode of it. It's pretty great. And it's totally different than Primal. And all the other stuff. It's called Unicorn Warriors Eternal. And it's like, just hyper realistic kind of steampunk world of these like ancient warriors. And one of them, they're like regular people, and the warriors get kind of woken inside of them. You know, they get buried for a couple of years, and now something's happened. So the warriors are coming out. And then the main lady, I can't remember the character's name, she becomes the superhero. And she's the one who's kind of like, I don't want to be the superhero. You know, that's where all that conflict comes in. But it's great. Jendi Tarkovsky's the god, so.
And it's called Unicorn the what?
Unicorn Warrior Eternal.
Unicorn Warrior Eternal.
On the Max. The Max.
Done. He's got all that good Game of Thrones money since that went away.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, but Jendi's the man. You know, I mean, technically I think it's an Adult Swim show. That's just kind of being thrown onto the max. But Gendy's the man. He hasn't. We've done so many Gendy shows here, and all of them have been great.
They're amazing. I cannot wait. Unicorn Warrior Lady.
Yeah,
James,
one warrior lady.
if we're wrapping up, where can people find you, sir?
And me, always at the Fantasy Shed, every day, all the time. Hit it up.
Continually at the Fantasy Shed.
Yeah.
Gonna end this the way that I have been this entire time while you've been gone.
Hey, our numbers have been not to I guess we're closing out, we're on air and everything, but our numbers are pretty great.
Oh, really?
Our spot to bring a little openness to our audience. Our Spotify numbers went down for a while since we've been on YouTube, and since you guys been going up past 2 weeks, our Spotify numbers went up a lot. Our YouTube numbers have been great.
What?
So,
you know why? Because it totally been that's totally what they want. Basically, I've taken.
you should just leave more often. I should leave this show now.
Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare! No, dude. That's great to hear, and it is always good to hang in the chat with everybody. Big Dan, Joey K, Dwayne Steela, Reeves, everybody just popping in tonight. It's always a pleasure. I am at yarn_Yeti. James lives at the Fantasy Shed. If you need anything from us, if you want to tell us how pretty we are,
Send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email. totally.toonular@gmail.com. Tell me your fetish. I'll give you your porn name.
That's what we need to hear. So yeah, tell Ben your fetishes. They'll give you a great porn name.
Beautiful.
All right, cowabunga, dude.
It's
Get
pizza
out of
time.
here. Pizza time.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big